Okay, so why do you think we struggle with being seen and heard? Does anyone want to take a guess or share? Yeah.
Judgment.
Judgment? Yeah, okay.
We're told to sit down and shut up from a very young age.
Yes.
I
And
think everyone wants to be accepted and, want to like
yeah, that acceptance
yeah.
and need of approval. Yeah, anyone else?
Rejection sensitivity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sensitive to being rejected.
That's right.
Yep, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, fear of vulnerability or failure.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot to it, right? There's a lot. And just kind of coming off of what you said here was, just so you're aware, we're told no, don't, stop, don't do that 180,000 times by the time we're 18. Okay? So the challenge is, with communication, we work off efficiencies, right? And then the other thing is we're not taught systems and we don't have frameworks for communication, right? For a lot of us, we just fumble around. And then we wonder why we feel belittled maybe from a boss, or we feel not seen and heard from our partner, or maybe as our parents, we feel not loved in sometimes. Because a lot of us haven't been trained how to communicate effectively, efficiently, and in a conscious way. This is, I believe strongly, communication is the tide that raises the most boats in our life. So what I mean by that is that if you double down on your communication, it's going to dramatically increase your professional life, because basically for most jobs, it's based around communication, whether it's with your boss, even if you're working remotely, that's still a form of communication, right? But also personally, right? If you have children, if you have relatives, if you have friends, a partner, pretty much a lot of breakdowns happen in relationships due to communication. So communication is very important. This is where it started. So some of you have mentioned this already, and the first reason why is what someone already said, which is the fear of judgment. Okay? Okay. So having that fear of being judged, which is connected to that fear of rejection, is why we have a trouble being seen and heard. And when we go to express ourselves, right, there's something called what's called the control muscles or release muscles, okay? So this is kind of a little advanced stuff here, but when you speak, depending on where you speak, if you've ever been sore from speaking, or if you're a professional speaker, like what starts to happen is this is your voice box right here. And if you're using your control muscles, you're straining your neck right in here. You're straining the cords. It's almost like speaking with a clamp on. And this happens, which is going to make to another point, is due to conditioning. So what happens is when we speak, we don't allow the projection to come out from down here. And I don't need to project that loud right now, but as you can tell, if I want to use my voice, but you want to know your audience and the size of the room, so I don't need to impress or vocalize, right? But if there's a bigger room, you allow more projection to come out, right? But you want to allow the projection to come out through your release muscles, not your control muscles. And what happens is, because we have a fear of judgment, we start to use our control muscles when we speak. And then we start swallowing our voice. And then we start playing small. And then because our voice is small, we start to play small. And then we start hiding and we start going really small. And now our voice goes really quiet, right? And then now we put on, hello, some fake voice. Hi, how's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Yeah. Because this is what happens to us, right? But hopefully tonight, if you feel open, this is a chance to maybe take some of that off if you want. But that's the first reason where it's coming from, is from that fear of judgment, which connects to what I was just talking about, which was that mask. Is number 2 is social conditioning. This is probably the biggest one that we're facing right now, especially in Western society. We lived over in Asia, and I've lived in all over the world, like third world countries and all this type of stuff. Been out of Canada for 8 years, come back, I've been born and raised in Kelowna, come back for the first time in 8 years. And this one I've noticed is pretty big out here, is the social conditioning, right? So this is what's also connected to what's called group think, okay? Or what's also called the herd think, right? And that's okay. There's actually a lot of benefit for us having herd think, right? So that hopefully there's outliers, but that stops us from causing harm to each other, right? Like if I was just to show up naked today, right? Like that's helpful that I'm wearing clothes, right? Like I'm trying to deliver this in fully naked, right? Like conditioning's good, right? Having some of that is good, but the challenge where that comes in is when we're not allowing ourselves to be seen and heard as our authentic self, right? So now we fit into a norm to be in with the group, and now we just do this in our expression, right? When we're very stiff and robotic, and then our mind gets conditioned. And then when our mind gets conditioned, then our voice gets conditioned, then our body suppresses, right? And then this is where dis-ease starts to come from, right? It's all super connected. So social conditioning and the mask, which I was talking about earlier, which is connected to the Greek word persona. Okay, so persona means mask. And so what we want to try to do over time is like an onion, is slowly and slowly, and this is what happened to Molly when she first started this, is she started taking off the mask. And when she came up here and took off the mask, I remember first seeing her first time, she used to stand like this on stage. Yeah, and crying. And by the way, if that happens to you here, that's okay. We actually invite that. It might be quite of a sensitive experience. It might be your first time allowing yourself to be seen and heard. And we welcome that in here, actually, if that's your edge, right? If that's something you want. Because you might be exploring taking off the mask. And when you take it off, you're like, oh my God, I'm being witnessed for the first time. Oh my God, my heart's being open for the first time in front of people I just met. Like, I've never done that before. And that's a big experience. Yeah.
I find what I struggle with a lot is honesty. When you speak honestly, people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find tactfully and but honest.
Oh, yes.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a balance with this, right? So this comes down to your intention, right? So yeah, your intention is ideally you want allow yourself to be seen and heard, but then also there's a balance between respecting others as well, right? So depending on the depth of the relationship is depending on the authenticity that you let out, but hopefully over time, your authentic self, you start to build a kind of like, let's call it like a win-win. It's like a win-win authentic self with the world, right? So for example, like I'm in a certain persona right now. I'm actually in teacher/coach persona, right? We're gonna have those. If I was with a dog, hello, how are you? Oh my God, like that's my dog persona, right? We do have personas. Welcome. So if you have a dog, you know how I'm gonna be like. But those personas are there. But ideally, what happens is we call it a through line. Hopefully, there's more of a through line, and there's not a big discrepancy between like your work version and your home version. Right? But these things, like I said, talked about, these are helpful in a certain degree. But then what we want to do is, okay, so in here, this is a fantastic place to work on this. All right? Exploring your vulnerability, right? So, in here, your ego's not really going to get points. It's actually going to be harder. It's going to make you actually resist the transformation. So this actually kind of goes opposite to Toastmasters. Okay, so Toastmasters is well-oiled, it's well-professional, and again, there's a time and space around that type of stuff, but we're here for more so like your personal and professional, but your professional or your personal as well, right? So exploring your vulnerability, and this is why we have a challenge with speaking up, is due to this inability to access vulnerability. And this is, you can look on social media now. Everyone has an acute sense of fake now. And with AI coming and all this type of stuff, we're really craving realness. And the access you have, they call this in marketing, they call it the reluctant hero. Okay? The reluctant hero is that where Superman has kryptonite, right? For a reason. If Superman just had all the powers in the world, it wouldn't be much of an exciting movie to watch. So having kryptonite has a thing. So they call it the reluctant hero. Is you want to show your vulnerability. So you notice how when I first started, I told you about my voice and how it was weak, and I'm sharing my vulnerability, right? But now you can do that and weave that, which we'll talk about later, is you weave it into storytelling. So vulnerability is another reason why. Now,
I have a question
go ahead.
about that. Is there a line between like being vulnerable and oversharing, or or that depends on like context and choosing the moments when you're being vulnerable?
Yeah, so what you're going to find tonight, set and setting. So this is very important, set and setting. Who's in the room and what setting are you in, right? Depending, and here's a big one with vulnerability, depending on how much acceptance you have of it. So I'll share it with you right now. I was addicted to cocaine and alcohol. I'm now 10 years sober. Thank you. So, did you just observe that? What did you just observe there? I didn't know that was going to happen. What did you just observe? I'm going to teach you awareness training.
I don't know if we all, okay, I have more connection with you because you were real and vulnerable.
What did everyone collectively just do?
Congratulations.
You clapped. You clapped. Did I say, okay, everyone give me a round of applause? You all clapped instantly. How did that happen?
Because we related to like
You're
struggles.
trying to positive maybe?
We all have these things, and so we're relating to, maybe not alcohol and cocaine, but maybe something else in our lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just like seeing you do it, it's like, yeah, it gives me an invitation.
Gives you permission.
To do the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, wow, he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe he stands up here, maybe he's got the lights, maybe he's got the thing, whatever perception you have of me right now, I'm here saying I'm a human. Okay, I might be in this position, I might have authority right now, but if I'm in one of your professions or I come to you, you're going to have the authority in that position. But how nice is it when you get to someone in an authority or something, you find out, oh, thank you for your humanness. So I just shared, but remember what I was just talking about there? It depends on how you own it. I'm not hiding from it. I have nothing to hide. In fact, I'm very proud and I'm on a mission to help people with it. I'm on a mission. It's like part of my purpose to help people with and share what I've learned overcoming that, because that has been really difficult. But I'm now at a place where I've now come full circle. It's part of the hero's journey where you come back and share your medicine. So now this is why I've traveled the world. I've seek mentors and all this type of stuff. And I'm here to open my heart in Canada, in my home country, in my homeland. So that's now my mission. Okay, so when you own your vulnerability, then it gives permission to also be like, oh my God, he's human or she's human. Now I can have that connection, and now you're a real human. So it depends on how much you can own it. The next one is overthinking. And I don't know if we have any in here. Right? Trying to get it right. Okay? I'm gonna expose myself again. Okay? I'm not a really good speller. I don't know. I think that I don't even know if I spelled that right. Okay, perfect. Okay? No, that's good. That's good. You know what I was about to do while I was doing it? Sometimes you can bring awareness to it and be like, oh, I'm not really good at spelling. But I was just like, oh, I'll just let it land. See if it does. And look, it's come out again.
I could feel that when you did it because you paused.
Yeah, I'm like, is it that?
And then it was like you were going to say something and then you didn't.
Yeah, because I'm like, where's the autocorrect, right? When you're writing, where's my autocorrect? I don't have the autocorrect. And I love using the whiteboard, but I just have to own that I can't spell that well yet. I'm getting better and better. This is way better than I was before. But here's the thing. Am I going to let this stop me from giving you value? Am I going to let myself get in the way from giving you the experience? What we'll talk about later is that I'm making this about you. So if I care about my spelling and let that ruin my delivery and let me stop giving value to you, I start self-judging myself, now my flow and my intention can't flow to you. What you'll find out later is a lot of speaking comes down to your energy, okay? A lot of it comes down to your energy. I always remind myself when I'm about to speak or I'm about to deliver on camera or these type of stuff, a lot of people are not coming to me for this specific content. They might, but a lot of people that will really resonate with me, they're gonna resonate with my energetic signature. So that's where it comes down to the authenticity of owning your energetic signature, and everyone's fingerprint or energetic fingerprint is different. And the more you can own that and take up more and more space in that, You'll create polarization. That's okay, because now you have people really for you. You're not going to be vanilla. That's okay. So overthinking and perfectionism. Perfectionism is probably one of the most challenging ones to get over. And here, when I work with perfectionists, my one rule is that you have to get it wrong. You want to get it right in here? Get it wrong. You want to be the top student here? You want to get that A+? You got to get a C-. That's how you're going to win in here. So that really puts a little mind funk on some of my beautiful perfectionists, because it's like, this is not the place. We're getting messy here, you know? We want to do finger painting here. So overthinking and getting stuck in that loop, what's going to happen is you're making it about yourself and you're not making it about your audience, which is very important. And then lastly is lack of practice, okay? Lack of practice. So the challenge is a lot of us don't have spaces to explore our truth. A lot of us don't have spaces to be seen and heard. We just have to go to work and just test out. The other thing too is, like, I don't know if anyone is in here, I've workshopped with clients on how to let go their employee, right? Imagine you're saying that for that's a interesting thing, being like, oh, you know, that's a serious situation that you have to workshop, and now you have to go do that for the first time. It's never. How do I say this in like a kind, like you were talking about, in a kind way? How do I do this? You've just not had time to practice that. So having spaces where you can practice your expression is very helpful. Okay? Any questions? We're about to wrap up here. Any questions on this first bit of theory?
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Social conditioning. In what country was there? Did you see the least of that?
Okay, here's an interesting thing, okay? We were in Bali, right? So we can't read the news. We can't listen to the news. We can't understand the radio. So we're kind of in this weird place where we actually don't get into the groupthink there.
Right.
Because we don't understand the language.
Right.
So like, that's what you hear on the speakers sometimes in Bali, and just like they'd be like, there's a bomb coming and you guys should get, there's about to be an earthquake and all this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It's not that it's not happening, it's that you were outside.
You're outside it's called being outside the group think. Yeah, outside the herd think. So yeah, depending on where you are, because you've not been in their culture, you've not been in their conditionings. So the challenge also, like that's like a positive one, but the negative one is that you could really offend people because you don't know the social norms. You don't know, and you see this a lot, you're being very disrespectful by showing this part of your body, right? You need a sarong in this holy temple, right? And you didn't know, and then, oh my God, the people are like, well, you're like, what? Like, what? This is normal in my country, right? And so that it depends where you are. So there's like in anything, I study the universe quite deeply. We live in a world of duality, right and left, up and down, all this other stuff. So there's pros and cons to being outside the group think, and then also you have to ideally learn the cultural norms. So great question.
Sorry,
No, that's all right. That's all
I'm
right.
going to Bali at the end of the month, at the end of October.
Okay, come talk to us after, and we'll
I'm excited.
give you the insider. We were there for 4.5 years. Okay, great. So can I get everyone to